It was an historic event for Kentucky on Saturday, March 5, 2016. It is the first time a Republican Presidential Caucus has ever been held in the Commonwealth. The Republican Presidential Caucus is a meeting of party members to select leadership. The Kentucky Caucus means Kentucky's choice for our 2016 GOP presidential candidate will happen earlier and will be more relevant on the national level for this election. This earlier result will influence other states still using the primary method and will ultimately give us more say in the outcome of the selection of the Republican presidential candidate. Every Republican voter in Kentucky has been assigned to a certain caucus location based on the address they provided to the Board of Elections. Candidates are allowed to recruit volunteers to serve as their representatives at caucus sites. Those representatives can hand out campaign literature and answer voters' questions. Nelson County voters were allowed to place their vote at any time between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. at Bardstown High School. When the voters were ready to cast their votes by secret ballot, the caucus goers waited in line to enter the balloting area, which PLG wasn't allowed to take our cameras. At this point, the caucus will feel like a typical polling location. Voters presented identification to the trained caucus official. Voters signed in just like they would during a typical election and were handed a ballot. After they made their selection, they inserted their ballots into a ballot box. 111 out of 120 county parties have chosen to hold a caucus at locations within their counties this year. All 11 presidential candidates who filed to participate in the caucus remained on the ballot. However, signs were posted to inform voters which candidates have dropped out of the race, like Rand Paul. The March 5th caucus replaces the usual Republican presidential primary in May, so the caucus is the only opportunity for Kentucky Republicans to vote in the race for the Republican presidential nomination.
Right now we're running at about a 10% voter turnout, and I believe it's about 1:30 p.m. I anticipate that our turnout is going to exceed our expectation. Last presidential campaign, I think our primary turnout was around 8 or 9%. So we've already met that. So anything from now is going to exceed that. We've had lines going out the door all day. We've had lines actually outside of Bardstown High here. We've had lines going out, wrapping around, and going down into the parking lot. So we've had a lot of people that are coming out to make their voice heard today. And it's really kind of exciting, and people are excited about it. This is a very historical day in Kentucky Republican politics, specifically because normally our primaries are held so late, our presidential primaries are held so late that by the time we get to vote, it doesn't matter. And it's a winner-take-all situation. Today, if you support a candidate and that candidate gets a 5% threshold of the vote, we use a proportional delegate system, meaning that the delegates will be split proportionately. So nobody's really coming in and wasting a vote today. I think that's another factor that's driving people out into the primary, into our caucus today. It has been a very historical day. It's something that we did not really expect the turnout that we've gotten today. It's been a pleasant surprise, and we have welcomed right now we've welcomed several hundreds of people in to vote today, and we expect it to be, well over 1,000, maybe a couple of thousand.
Yeah, I voted for Trump. I think he doesn't make the best man for the American people myself. I think he'll bring a lot of jobs to this country, and he'll bring a lot of jobs back in this country.
I voted for Ted Cruz. I just think he's the only, I'm conservative, and I think he's the only real conservative candidate in all areas of life.
I voted for Donald Trump because he's the only one that can beat Hillary Clinton.
Although Donald Trump wins the state of Kentucky by almost 10,000 votes, Ted Cruz comes out on top in Nelson County by only 4 votes. Donald Trump is the winner of the 2016 Kentucky Republican Caucus Saturday, gaining 17 delegates according to CNN. Ted Cruz holds second place, gaining 15 delegates. Marco Rubio and Kasich both gained 7 delegates each in third and fourth place. I'm Matt Gordon reporting for PLG News 13.